Absolutely. Okay, I've been dying to ask you about this. Well, a number of things, but this one especially. And this is the meeting between President Trump and JD and little Zelensky, the little dictator. What were your thoughts on how that turned out?
Well, Zelensky is not used to an American president not just bending over and giving him anything he wanted. And he had been told in that meeting not to bring up the issue of American military assistance. He had been told that if he played his cards right, there would be this agreement, this economic agreement, under which we would go in there and sign an agreement to do mining of minerals, which would help us to get at least back some of the $300 billion that we've put in there, whatever it is at this point. And despite all that, he decided he wanted to pick a fight with J.D. Vance, and he picked a fight, and he got taken to woodshed by the president. And so it was something that there's some who say, "Oh, I don't like the arguing or this, that, and the other," but Zelensky got exactly what he deserved. The guy is a dictator himself. He's not any type of champion of a constitutional republic like we know it. And I thought it was rather amusing. And I was listening to it listening to the events unfold on Sirius XM radio when I was actually driving down to Atlanta that weekend, and it was really quite interesting to hear how it unfolded on the radio. But he asked for it and he got it, and I'm sure if he asked for it again, he would get it again.
And I've heard so many pundits say so many different things about that meeting. One of the things was, well, Trump sure didn't fight very much, but what are your thoughts about that? I thought he did a pretty good job, but it seemed like he was letting JD show his stuff.
Well, JD kind of started it and Trump kind of finished it. And he said, "Hey, you don't have the cards. We've got the cards. You're nothing without us." And then Trump kicked him out of the White House. So, it was a nice looking 1-2 punch sort of thing. But the meeting had gone on for like 48 minutes before that without much of an incident. But then JD made a comment and Zelensky started to pick a fight, and he got a fight. And it kind of shows, it says a lot about the guy's judgment. And here's a country that has given him all this money for all these years and allowed him to actually stay in power, and he tries to pick a fight with a president and a vice president in front of the entire world, showing a lack of graciousness. But I think to a large degree, he exposed his true colors, and people, Zelensky, the globalists have tried to portray him around the world as some sort of champion of freedom. But the fact of the matter is, he's closed churches, he shut down the political opposition, he has suspended elections, he has taken control of the media there in Ukraine. He's done everything that dictators do, and so the whole war between Russia and Ukraine is a war between two dictators. And somebody said, you're pro Putin if you want to stop spending money, despite the fact we've got a $37 trillion national debt. But you can be anti both at the same time. If I'm watching the Pittsburgh Penguins and Montreal Alouettes, or the Montreal, Canadiens, or whoever those hockey teams are, I don't have to pull for either one of them. And I don't have to give money to either one of them. If I don't give money, to one team, doesn't mean I'm pulling for the other team. But there's no logic to some of the criticism that we've gotten about this boondoggle, and hopefully it'll be over soon. But it's clear that the president is getting a lot tougher, and it's time to kind of cut the cord here because we've got too much of a national debt, and the Ukraine is just one of the many boondoggles that it's responsible for us to keep running a deficit. We just can't afford to do it anymore.